With a tattooed long-haired protagonist, plenty of murder fish, and a Pitbull cover of Toto's Africa, Aquaman is a 2-hour perpetually protracted glittery wet explosion, and peaked 2018 in film. Hi, I'm Dan Umpton, and this is the Doomcast. Well, somehow DC did it. Somehow, both Aquaman and Wonder Woman made better movies than Batman vs. Superman and the Justice League. Aquaman is silly fun and constantly over the top, but it's also a really good adventure film. Part National Treasure, part Return of the King, part Splash, but almost all underwater, Aquaman delivers. If you told anybody 5 years ago that our president was a fascist and Aquaman would be a great movie, no one would have believed you. From the opening sequence, with nods to H.P. Lovecraft and an origin tale set to Sigur Rós, they get right to the action pretty much out the gate, right after Sigur Rós, and James Wan shows that he is not fucking around. Like far too many other DC films, it packs almost too much in at one time, and it has a dark and gritty last act where everything is on fire, but it's by design. It does all of those things really well, and underwater. Black Manta's origin is pretty compelling, and he's one of my favorite characters in the movie. Even Orm, my least favorite character, has a pretty reasonable motivation for doing what he's doing and preventing his world, the ocean, from being irrevocably polluted. But like I said, it's also completely over the top and pretty silly. There's a scene where Aquaman saves one kid from a bell, literally, by throwing it into literally 5 other people. There's a scene where 3 dudes get stabbed with wine. Not wine bottles. Why? And there's another scene where Aquaman sends thousands of fish and gigantic crustaceans to murder an entire undersea army. You knew that was coming. Instead of pointing to places where Aquaman got it right versus where other DC movies got it wrong, taken on its own, it's a pretty standard adventure film. Hero has something special but rejects a call to adventure, has a magical journey to an undersea or otherworldly place, and then he goes on another quest for an object, obtains it, and then changes the status quo. But again, this isn't a new story or a story that's going to get old anytime soon. It's the skin or maybe the scales that get put on it. What it does do is it helps bring a little-known mythology that's around Aquaman into the public eye. Specifically his origin, but tangentially the other kingdoms or realms of the sea, like Zabel, the Trench, and the Fishmen. Not only that, but the fall of Atlantis and the fate of the first king are covered, as well as somewhat miraculous aspects and magical aspects of Atlantean technology. So, it's pretty satisfying. If you're a fan of any era of DC, you'll probably love this movie, because it's frankly hard not to like. Except for the runtime of 2 hours and 20 minutes, but meh, what are you gonna do? It seems like that's every movie this year. Here's the big accomplishment. It's a lighthearted movie that still feels big and heroic and fun and hopeful, and ultimately that is what I've always loved about DC Comics. And hopefully, that's what they continue to get right in the future of their movies. Thanks everybody for watching. Take care and have a great week.